Hello, and welcome to the coronavirus update video number 41.0. Today's date is the 25th of April 2020. I'm sorry, I'm just a couple of minutes late. Just had to put a couple of final things in, and whilst getting messages, I kind of lost track of time. So welcome to everyone who is new to this channel. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and sending me the messages that you've just found this page. We're still getting many new members to this page, and they're just discovering all of this information that they've been trying to discover on Spanish news websites, and they're just not getting the correct information. So again, thank you very much for joining in, and for the long-time listeners out there, you guys rock. You guys are the awesome ones who are sharing this out and making sure that people know what the information is. Okay, so just like at the start of every single episode, I like to go through the numbers, the statistics here in Spain over the last 24 hours and in total. So we'll just jump into it. So as of today, the 25th of April, there are 205,905 people infected in total, and that is 2,944 over the previous day. Now again, we talked about this yesterday, how these numbers are now going to be different. A lot of people were kicking up a fuss basically because they had dropped around 10,000 over the previous day yesterday. This was because of the new PCR testing that they're only going to be following from now on. This is basically the quick test. So, of course, if they're only going to be following these tests from now on, the numbers will be slightly different. So please go back if you're not sure. I did a deep dive into it yesterday in yesterday's video. So go back and watch that one, because I'll give you a deep dive into the PCR and what they are actually doing. As for the recovery rate, we are at 95,708, and that is 3,353 over the previous 24 hours. Again, great numbers to see, because it is more than the infection rate, which is great. And as for deaths, we do like to talk about it on here, unfortunately, but it is 22,902 in total, and that is 378 over the last 24 hours. Again, we're in the lower than the 400 marks for the last 2 days now, so it's really good to see that. Okay, let's move on. Now, I might seem a bit bunged up today. Yes, I do have allergies, and they're starting to kick in at the moment. And yes, I'm a naughty boy for not getting my vaccines done, or I'm meant to be doing them once a month, but hey, it slipped my mind. I'm a new dad, leave me alone. So you're going to have to just deal with bunged up Adrian for the next couple of days anyway, until I get this all sorted. Okay, so in recent news, we're going to talk about the fake news and, of course, the recent news in today's episode. But actually, I got a message from the founders and the runners or the admins of the page N332 yesterday evening. Now, this was Francisco Javier and Phoebe Lydiard. They messaged me this morning, just basically, or last night, but I responded this evening, just basically saying that they have found the page. They realise what I'm doing is actually something very useful, and if I want any help from them, that I can ask them any questions and hopefully get a response quite quickly as well. So it was really good to receive that information. This is a page that has over 150,000 likes, over 200,000 followers. So for a page that big to then kind of acknowledge this page and what I'm doing on this page, it was really good to see that. So that was really good for me. That was a booster in energy, at least. So yeah, Francisco and Phoebe, thank you very much for acknowledging this page. Thank you very much for the time that you do, because I do share a lot of information from the N332 page, because again, they do have translators in there, and they work very closely with the Guardia Civil, so they get actual information. Okay, let's talk about some fake news then. So the biggest fake news was, of course, Trump. Now, you may have seen this over the last 24 hours or so, that Donald Trump in the United States, he had a press conference and he was talking about the infections and how they're going to be fighting it. He did have to mention about infrared and lighting and heating. Now, this actually isn't that crazy, because this has been proven by scientists that some infections, I'm not saying the coronavirus, has been dealt with light and heat. So, yeah, okay, what he's talking about there is, yeah, it kind of makes sense. But, of course, we're not talking about that today. We're talking about the actual news of him saying live on TV that people should inject themselves with disinfectant because it gets into the lungs and No, 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 no. And actually, a funny thing, someone actually posted and messaged me yesterday. Whilst he was giving this out, he only had about 1,400 people watching live. Whereas this channel here, myself, I had 1,700. So I had more live viewers than Donald Trump. I thought that was really, really funny to see. But anyway, but we heard about that news about injecting yourself with disinfectant, and you kind of think, really, really, are people going to be that stupid? Well, why else would we be talking about it today other than people were stupid enough? There was actually reports coming out that over 100 people in the United States were admitted to hospital because they injected themselves with disinfectants such as bleach or other disinfectants. So it just goes to show, some people will follow anything that that the president will say, and other people may not think for themselves. So, yeah, I don't know where to finish with that story. I really don't. I just found it quite funny. Right, let's go on to some other news that is not entirely true, but there is going to be some more information that needs to come out of this. The Valencian street markets are going to be going back to normal on the 30th of April. Sorry. This was an article that was sent to me by 3 or 4 different people, and it was just from the same news organization, but I haven't seen it in any other place. It only states this news organization that street markets will commence back on the 30th of April. However, there has been no mention whatsoever of street markets going back to normal. Now, what I can actually think that they're trying to get away from this article was maybe they're talking about the actual normal markets, as in the standing inside markets that are on a daily basis. Now, these markets are actually open throughout of Spain. These inside markets, they're actually okay to open, but of course it's only going to be for stalls that sell fruit, vegetable, meats, cheese, etc., food. So maybe they were mentioning that some of those are now going to be starting to open up again a bit more, but again, there's no much information about that. So if you do see any articles about Valencia now opening up street markets, hold off until you share it, send it over to me, because if it's from the same source, I'm still trying to find different sources to confirm if this is true or not. Okay, let's go on to the next part. Spain still doesn't have a full plan for lifting the lockdown, but they are working on it. So, of course, there's a lot of articles going around at the moment of Spain having a timeline of when the lockdown is going to be lifted and what's going to be opening up first. Nothing has been announced. So if you see any of these images, I know there's been a lot of timelines coming out and some different coloured charts and stuff like that they've been released by press. This is not true. None of this is actual true information. This is speculation from probably experts or people working for the media themselves. So nothing like this has been announced until this is announced. And yes, they are working on it at the moment, but until this happens, we won't actually have a clear idea of the dates that are going to be releasing, for example, opening up shops or I don't know, communal areas or pools. We don't have a clear idea on this yet, so until this happens, I would avoid passing on or sending on or sharing any of these details with anyone, because it could actually give a lot of speculation and people might not understand, etc. Right, we'll move on to vaccine trials. Now, this is not fake news, but it is actually news that I'm still very skeptical of at the moment, because it's only coming out from certain sources. I did talk about vaccines 2 or 3 days ago about how long it was going to be taking, and yes, the vaccine is in record time at the moment for the coronavirus vaccine. And they've already started human testing, where I actually thought this was going to take another couple of weeks at least. But apparently in Oxford, they've started a trial on human testing. This is only a test of only 100 patients, and these patients are actually full healthy patients. 50 of them are going to be getting a vaccine for the coronavirus, and 50 are going to be getting another vaccine, which is nothing to do with the coronavirus. And basically, they will have to monitor these areas for the next, or these patients for the next couple of months. So even if this human trial goes well, this is only out of 100 patients, 100 tests. So they will still have to do a wider test before it even gets even close to being put onto the market. So yeah, I do appreciate all the articles being sent to me about Britain as the first ones to get to human trial. That's fantastic news. It really, really is. But you still have to make sure that you understand it's not going to be out into the public anytime soon. It would still have to go through many, many, many more tests before actually this is coming out to the public. You know, this test even has to pass the first time. most likely it might not pass the first time. It might have 2 or 3 or 4 different attempts before they actually get to the correct one with no or zero or very few side effects. So we're just waiting to see what actually happens with that. Okay, let's move on to the next news. Leroy Merlin. Now, Leroy Merlin, of course, is the biggest hardware, well, one of the biggest in Spain, hardware department stores. It's like the Spanish B&Q equivalent, basically, or the British B&Q equivalent here in Spain. Now, Leroy Merlin actually sent out, because I'm self-employed and I work in real estate alongside the construction side as well with the Keystyle Properties. We actually have the pro membership of Leroy Merlin, which means that we can get access to the construction materials. Now, what they have been doing, Leroy Merlin, they've been actually doing orders online or on the telephone, and they will deliver it to construction sites. But from Monday, this coming Monday, they are actually going to be opening up several stores only to self-employed who are working in the construction sector or construction companies. Now, they're going to be opening the shops from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday. Now, no, this does not mean that if you want to go and grab some paint to paint your house, it does not mean that this is going to be okay. You have to have permission to be able to go into the shop. You would have to have, of course, your self-employment documentation or probably the actual membership card to be able to gain access. I only received a text message last night about this information. When I clicked on the link to get more information, it actually took me to another page. So not really clear on that, but that text message came through and I've confirmed it with the contact that I have with the one in Murcia here, and he said yes, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday they're going to be opening up the shops to professionals. So that's good. That's really, really good news there. Okay, masks. We have talked about masks all of this week, and yeah, masks are now on sale, but they're also going to be available for free with people with the Spanish health card. Now, I have been doing research about whether people from the UK, for example, having the European health card are able to gain this, and from what I've seen, no, they're not going to be able to get this. It's only with Spanish health cards, and this is like a white and red health card. And you're only access to one of these masks if they have them in stock. That's the thing, because some of these pharmacies, they might have had these masks maybe last week, but because they've had a backlog of all the people waiting, like a waiting list, they probably would have all gone already. So yeah, a lot of pharmacies will be offering this service, but it's if and when they get these masks from the government. Now, if you wanted to buy any more of these masks, they're going to be available for the maximum price of 0.96 cents. So in other words, just under €1 per mask. And this is going to be the same for hand sanitizer as well. We talked about this two or three shows ago, that hand sanitizing price is going to be a limited maximum now. So this is great news for people who were being exploited for hand sanitizer prices. But again, it's all because of the funding from the government. So we'll just have to wait and see about this, okay? Airlines. We'll go on to airlines now. I'm still getting a lot of messages about getting refunds, etc. Yes, by law, airlines have to give you a full cash refund. They have to by law. This will take time, definitely, but we did talk about this a couple of days ago where I actually said or suggested if you are able to take the voucher, take it. You know, it could keep that business or that airline in business over the next couple of months. We don't know what's going to be happening, of course, in the future, or if any of them are going under, but if you want to wait for the cash, perfectly fine to do. I just made a suggestion, so I just, you know, I hope it helped a couple of people. But yes, by law, they have to give a full refund. And that actually goes on to my next question that I'm going to answer, which is cruises. A lot of people have been booking cruises over the last 3 or 4 months, and now they're, of course, getting refunds from these cruise ships or these cruise holidays. And this is a voucher that they have to redeem in the next year or so, or the next 18 months. Again, I actually don't know whether they have to, by law, give a full cash refund. Because airlines is classed as transport and as part of the transport industry, cruises is basically classed as holiday and tourism. So I don't know if they have to, by law, give a full cash refund. I'm still looking into it, but if anyone does have a bit more information about this, please send it over to me. But yeah, for the moment, cruise lines, I don't think you're allowed a cash refund yet. We'll wait until we get some confirmation or maybe some government documents, but yeah, nothing yet. Okay, and we're going on to the last story, basically. Last story, the big story. which is, of course, children being allowed out tomorrow. Yay! All right, so there's been a lot of speculation on what's going to be happening, and today on bowie.es, which is the government official website where they released the royal decrees, this was released this morning. The information has been translated by M332, and it's actually on this page. I shared it to this page so you can go back and read it. But as it stands, children will be allowed out, and it is 13 or less years old, not 14 as what we originally thought. It is 13 or less. So for the people who are 14, 15, 16 and 17, there is nothing available at the moment, because what we thought was older siblings were able to take the younger siblings out, but there has not actually been any confirmation of that whatsoever. So no, 14, 15, 16 and 17-year-olds, they won't be allowed out, because technically they're not classed as adults yet. When they turn 18, they will be allowed out. So it's a shame. You know, I thought that was going to be the case, but not any longer. So yes, from 0 to 13 years old, you will be allowed out from 1 hour a day. And this time is from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So you're allowed to go out for 1 hour a day, and this is going to be up to 1 kilometer away from your property. Now, some people are asking, can you go onto beaches? Well, as the royal decree states, it's allowed on nature or natural parks, such as forests and areas such as this. Also beaches as well have not been mentioned as no. However, I do know that some beaches are still closed off, and the government and the town halls are keeping them closed off. But there are some, for example, Mijas, they're actually opening up, and they stated on their official town hall page that they will be opening up the beaches. Now, this does not mean that everyone can go there. It's, of course, only for people within 1 kilometer of the beach who will be able to go. What else is there? Masks. Masks are not an obligation, but they are recommended. So if you do have masks, of course, that could be something that the children could wear. And communal areas, no, they are not allowed to go into communal areas. So, for example, parks, children's parks and stuff like this, recreational fields such as football pitches, tennis courts, no, you will not be allowed to go onto any of these unless, of course, they're private. Well, if that's the case, then yes. But no, any communal areas such as football pitches or anything like this, no. Same as parks, you're not allowed to go onto parks either. There was a lot of talk about certain areas or resorts, for example, administrations basically approving if they're allowed to go into parks, but as it states in the royal decree, no, communal areas will still be closed. Bikes, scooters, balls, toys, yes, they are allowed to go out. However, what we have read is parents will not be able to go out on their bike with the children. I'm sorry, but that's what we've translated. Don't hate the messenger. This is what we've translated. And also dog walking. No, you will not be able to take your dog on a 1 kilometer walk with your children. This is not the case because it was not stated in this royal decree. That means the rule has not changed. So it is still a close proximity to your home. And that is basically it. Oh, God. Okay, let's move on to the last little bit here. Now, tomorrow, of course, all these children who are going to be going out, and if you guys are watching and you have children yourself, I actually want to have a positive video over the next couple of days now. So if you are going out tomorrow with your children, can you film their reaction? Can you film something that I could maybe put something together, maybe have something positive that we can share out to this page and make a couple of people smile? So if you are a parent and you're taking your children out tomorrow and you've got maybe something special planned for them, maybe a 1 kilometer route around your property or maybe some exercising whilst you're out there, if you have children, you're taking them out, take a reaction picture or a video, send it over to me privately on here. You don't have to post it on the comments, but send it over to me privately. And of course, with your permission, I would like to create a video. And this video will basically be just the happiest video ever, you know, children smiling, being allowed out after 43 days, being allowed out into the fresh air. I just want to share that warmth and share that love with all the people watching on this channel especially. Okay, and the last little thing that we're going to have a look at is the future. So what is the future? Now, people have been asking me what I'm predicting, what do you think is going to be happening? I don't have a crystal ball. I said this yesterday and I said it the day before. I do not know the future of this. I do not know what is going to be happening with bars, restaurants, hotels, holidays, flights. I don't have a clue. What we do know is that certain measures are starting to be put into place, however. Now, the certain measures will be, for example, the hospitals. This is going to be the key stepping stone, where hospitals now, they are allowing people to start going back in, especially for their appointments, their normal appointments, etc. But they are starting with a hand sanitizing station, where you have to wash your hands with hand sanitizer, even if you're wearing gloves as well. And then they're closing off all the chairs that are in the waiting room, where they are separating them at least 1.5 meters away. So they are boarding off 2 seats, having one open. Boarding off 2 seats, having one open. And they're only allowing people with a temperature of 37.5 degrees or lower to be allowed in. They're doing this by taking the temperature. But we've also seen a lot of people or a lot of companies actually starting to push that they're going to be having infrared kind of thermometers reacting to people as they walked in as well. So this is probably going to be the only future that I can predict at the moment where, yeah, there are going to be a lot of protocols that people will have to follow when going into establishments, when going into shops, when going into commercial centres. There's going to be some sort of system into place. They're not just going to uplift and then free for all. It's going to be rules that they have to follow. We just have to wait and see what is going to be put in by the government and what local shops and bars are going to be doing as well. So until that happens, we just have to wait and see, really. Okay, and the last announcement actually, I'm working currently at the moment on a series of videos, and these videos are going to be basically frequently asked questions, and I'm going to answer them with a short 2-minute video explaining everything. Now, these questions will be from: am I allowed to walk my dog? Can I exercise? Where can I get face masks? How do I apply for self-employment? Can I get back home? These types of questions. Now, this is going to be released on this page and also on YouTube as well. So come back, hopefully today I'm going to start uploading some of these videos as well. But if you guys can share these videos out, if you think that these videos are going to be helpful for someone, share it out, even tag it to your friends, because that's actually going to help these videos get out to the right hands. Now, of course, I'll be keep updating these videos as much as possible, but I'm predicting there's going to be about 50 of these videos coming out, and I'm going to try and keep them up to date as soon as possible. So, of course, when a new law comes in, I will take that video down and then put up the new version or the new answer to that question. Anyway, that is going to be it for today, guys. It was a short video, but not much news coming out. Enjoy tomorrow if you're going out with your kids. Like I said, if you are making a video, then send it over to me because I would love to see the reactions. You can do it also on Instagram as well. You can send it over to me or also private message on here. I've attached the link to the YouTube page up above or next to. I don't know where it is on this page because I'm on my phone. So it's in the description of this video. You can click on that link and you'll go to the YouTube channel. I've also put my Instagram in there as well. So you're feel free to join in, add me, share anything that you want. I'm always here to chat. All right, guys, remember, 8 p.m. every single night, get out onto those balconies, and I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. for a live question and answer. Bye, guys.